Yes, I'm finally doing it. Today we are talking about one of the most hated people on the internet, Jack Doherty.
Little Prop, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, Little Prop?
Now, Jack is in the news right now because he crashed his very expensive McLaren. He just totally wrecked it on the side of the road. It was a pretty brutal crash. I don't know if this is like a bad thing to say, but it was a very funny crash, okay? I found the crash funny, you know? I'm glad no one got hurt. If someone got more hurt, I probably would have been slightly more upset, but only if it wasn't Jack, I think. You can see him driving, and he was ultimately just too distracted by chat to really pay attention to the road. The children in his kick chat were much more enticing than his own physical safety. And so he started hydroplaning on like half an inch of water, so he ended up drifting into the other lane and just smashing right into the guardrail.
Oh! Oh! No! No! No!
If there's any way at all that we can like legally enforce some kind of punishment where he's not allowed to drive a car ever again, and also maybe he gets sent to some kind of internment camp, I think that would be a good idea. Maybe that's just me, but I think that would be cool if he had to do like some kind of forced labor in some kind of war-torn country, maybe like Liberia or Siberia. One of the areas, one of the mysterious areas that I don't know anything about, but it would be dangerous for him to be there. I think that would be good. But I guess the best punishment we can hope for or just take from all this is that he got banned from Kick. So W Kick for once. And it's so funny if you actually watch the video, Jack is far more concerned with making sure he gets to film the crash and makes content out of it than he is for his friend who just got his face up because they crashed a McLaren going like 70 miles an hour.
My car's total, guys. Does it look good on there? Oh my god, your face, bro.
I think it really goes to show where this kid's priorities are at in life. He doesn't care about people. What matters is the content. That's it.
Does it look good on there?
But this isn't even close to the first time that Jack has been talked about in this way. So it really got me thinking, what made him this way? He's not even 21 years old and he's already like a completely degenerate clout goblin with no concern for other people, no concern for society. He only cares about himself and making as much money as possible in the stupidest ways possible. How did he manage to become more detestable than most 50-year-old lolcows before he's even able to legally drink? How did this happen? So I got to going through the entire history of his career to find out where it all went wrong, how this child became such a fucking demon. Jack began posting to his YouTube channel all the way back in September of 2016, which is like almost 9 years ago now. But the videos he posted during this time period were pretty innocent. He was just hanging out. You guys remember that whole bottle flipping trend? Everybody was flipping bottles. Check out my epic flip, guys. I flipped Rick. Well, Jackie boy here took it upon himself to flip just about anything he could find, from markers to pens to fruits. And this led to him getting a video that got 30 million views of him just flipping things. And with that video, he got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So we got a lot of attention on YouTube at a very young age. And if you watch this content, it's not really anything special. It's pretty much exactly what you would expect from a child who just started YouTube and doesn't really have a fully formed brain yet. But what's important here is he got the attention that he wanted. And once he got it once, he wanted more and more and more of it. He was hungry. So he kept doing more flipping videos. He even flipped himself on a trampoline. Shocking, revolutionary content idea, I know. He did some pretty harmless pranks like trick-or-treating the day after Halloween. You know, it's like not really, it doesn't really matter. It's not really that interesting, but you know, it got him some views. But that wasn't enough. He was a YouTuber now, and he had a lot of YouTubers that he was looking up to, that he was watching, that inspired him. So he wanted to collaborate with them, and he would kind of force his way into their lives. For example, back in the day, do you guys remember the, "You can wear my sweatshirt," that kid? Well, some of the phone numbers of his family got leaked, and so Jack decided to film himself calling them at 3 a.m.
Guys, the thing is, I'm not even leaving my number blocked or anything. I'm just like, so they'd pick up.
Hello?
Hi, is this Jacob Sartorius?
This is not Jacob Sartorius.
Damn.
His cousin.
Oh, really?
Goodbye.
No, wait, no, please sing Sweatshirt.
But that wasn't enough, okay? He wanted to actually meet the YouTubers he looked up to in real life, which is why he decided to go to the FaZe house in New York and harass them.
I want them to come out so freaking badly. Guys, like, you don't understand, like, this is where they make videos, look. This is their house. At
one point, FaZe Rain even shows up to the house. You can see him like driving by in his R8. He sees that Jack is there and he just leaves. He just goes down the street. He's like, I'm not dealing with this child.
FaZe Rain! FaZe Rain! Guys, it's freaking FaZe Rain! Oh my god! The Audi R8.
Now, the obvious question to ask here would be, how did a 12-year-old get to the FaZe house? How is this 12-year-old at this random person's house he doesn't know, knocking on his door? And the answer is that his mom actually drove him there. His mom physically drove her son to a stranger's house in the middle of the day to meet a random YouTuber to demand their attention.
Why they're so famous?
They all have like YouTube channels. They have millions of subscribers and everything. Gaming videos.
But why they have
like games? They do like gaming videos and stuff.
This 12-year-old was basically just harassing these random YouTubers he doesn't know in real life at their house. He did not get invited. They did not know who the f he was. He just went there to meet them to try and get them in a video. Now, considering the fact that he was 12, I think you can forgive him a little bit for this at the time because, I mean, kids don't really understand what it's like to be an adult, you know? A kid watching YouTube at the time is probably not going to understand, like, hey, you're not supposed to just go to a YouTuber's house to talk to them. But apparently his mom didn't see an issue with this because she drove him to the Faye's house and drove him away and had no problem with it. And she, to your surprise, is actually not 12. She's like 50. His parents also drove him to the Team 10 house to try and meet Jake and Logan, which is really funny.
Logan!
Logan!
What's up, guys?
I was supposed to go with Rock.
How are you?
Good.
I gotta go. I'm so late to the airport. I love you guys, though.
In fairness, this one is a little bit different because at the time, Jake basically made the address to the Team 10 house public because he wanted children to go there to engage in the content and film him and post to their social media to make him go more viral. This was like part of his business strategy with Team 10.
Jake Paul actually has the Team 10 house on Google listed as a business where you could just show up with hours of operation.
I'd imagine that was kind of a nightmare for all the other people living there, but hey, that was what Jake was doing. But the fact remains that Jack's parents were driving him to meet random YouTube adult strangers who could have done anything to him, frankly. They didn't know who these people were. They drove him to these houses to try and film YouTubers and basically stalk them. It's kind of weird. Like, it's like a little bit weird. I think if I had a kid, I probably would not be driving them to random men's houses that they recognize from the internet. And we would be able to see people talking about how weird this was, but ultimately Jack turned off the comments because he got a lot of hate. But he went to meet up with Jake and Logan Paul because he looked up to them at the time. What Jake was also known for most of the time was being obnoxious in public. Jack saw that he was doing that, and he decided, what if I just did that for myself?
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Circle got a name, yeah. I can't buy me no wedding ring.
Jack's content when he was in middle school and early high school was basically him just going to a random store, doing something annoying, and getting kicked out, and then posting that to YouTube as like an epic prank. There are so many different examples of him doing this, like when he went to a trampoline park multiple times to argue with entire families and the staff until they're just sick of him and they're like, get out.
Yeah. Does that matter? I know it doesn't matter.
No, it does matter.
Kids,
obviously,
you're a young kid. You
no,
don't
obviously
care.
I care about
people. And you know the flipping on the main cord is one thing, the foam pits, but when there's little kids involved, dude, now you're crossing the line.
He also got kicked out of Walmart one time for just generally being a nuisance, throwing around footballs and basketballs and just being, once again, a menace to society who just freaking exists to annoy anybody who's trying to do their normal daily job and just get by. He is there heroically to make their lives hell. One time he went back to Walmart in this really, really infamous incident that I don't see a lot of people talk about, where instead of a cop telling him to leave, a Walmart employee asked him to stop filming and leave.
You to get out the store.
What?
Need you to get out the store.
Oh, sorry, I was just playing around.
Off the chain. You need to get out the store.
Can we stop and we'll just buy something?
You need to get out the store.
Okay, I'll get out of the store. Sorry.
And Jack refused to stop filming, and when he was being walked out, he kept filming the employee's face. He kept getting the camera in his face.
Don't take pictures of me. I'll break your camera.
No, you won't.
Jack starts mocking the guy, being like, you're not going to do anything. I'm 15 years old. You're going to go to jail if you even touch me.
Yes, I will.
I doubt it. I'm 15. You'll go to jail.
I don't care if you're 15.
You'll go to jail.
You respect me.
And the guy naturally, because Jack keeps filming him, tries to take away his camera.
All right, and you respect. Oh, hey! Ricky! Ricky! Ricky!
Now, Jack obviously deserved to have his camera taken away. The dude was filming in a private business. He's filming a private citizen who's just trying to do his everyday job who didn't want to be filmed. Jack acted like a little shit about it, which resulted in this guy trying to own him. And in reality, this employee is just trying to protect himself from being seen on YouTube by hundreds of thousands of retarded children who watch Jack Doherty every day. But Jack, because he was so upset about being mogged, would then claim that this dude choked and punched him.
Okay, so I just want to say at this point, I did have the right to freak out because as you will see later on, he put his hands around my neck. You can see the marks. He scratched me. He even punched me in the stomach trying to reach for my camera, trying to like get me to let it go. And keep in mind, he's like probably 40 years old at least, maybe even 50. And he's punching a 15-year-old, choking him and stuff. And he had my camera in my hand. And I thought at any second he was just going to smash it against the ground.
But then you watch the footage that Jack tells you to watch, and that just did not happen. He did not choke him. He did not punch him. He just held the camera above Jack's head, and Jack is like 5 feet tall, so he couldn't grab it.
I was not recording you.
Yes, you were.
It was not going.
I have no idea what just happened.
Give me my camera. Sir. Not take my camera. Sir. Wait till we get a last touch.
You're recording.
Okay, I will not use any of that. I just want my camera back. That's
No, you just said you won't use any of it.
Exactly.
No, but you're recording it.
Sir,
Almost got it.
do not, sir.
Almost got it right there.
Sir, you know how expensive that is. All right. Okay, may I have my camera?
So basically, Jack falsely accused this random Walmart employee who was trying to go about his day of assaulting him because he was mad that he couldn't get the YouTube video he wanted. And Jack probably also did it because he thought it would make for a better video and he just didn't care about lying about this random guy. And in fairness, it got 6 million views. But once again, the comments are turned off and, you know, I really wonder why that happened. And as you go through Jack's old content, you start to see a clear pattern forming, which is that the more obnoxious he gets, the more views he gets.
You're disgusting. International YouTube out of this place.
Wait, Jake?
Take this out of the place of my ring.
Okay, so guys, that guy, I really feel bad for him. Coming to bounce, I feel bad because he's about to get sued, but we have the video footage. I didn't even touch the kid. That was so dumb.
Sure, people in real life at these businesses fucking hated him, but the people on the internet liked it. So what does it matter? What does it matter that this local random guy doesn't like what Jack is doing, right? I mean, he's making money on YouTube. Who cares? At the end of the day, in Jack's real personal life, he didn't actually face consequences for any of these actions. Getting kicked out of Walmart? Boo-hoo. You get to make a video about it that gets millions of views. You make some money off of it. Sure, you get some hate comments, but Jack can always just turn those off so nobody can see it and nobody knows how hated he is. Which kind of begs the question, where was his mother that was driving him to the FaZe Clan house? Why was she not stopping him from doing this? And where was his father? Well, it doesn't seem like at this point, at least, they were doing anything to stop his behavior, so he kept it up. And his next little arc was to start terrorizing this random woman who lived next to him that he called Karen. Now, typically a Karen describes someone who like sticks their nose in everything and is just a complete wet blanket, so you would think that Jack was just minding his own business every day and she just couldn't help herself. But no, that's not what was happening. Instead, she was going about her day, and Jack was in his little lair with Dr. Doofenshmirtz and Gru, devising evil plans to harass and terrorize this woman and get her on camera to make fun of her in a YouTube video.
Time to go to the Karen's house. Oh no, guys, she's outside.
You're harassing me.
I'm not harassing you.
You get it through your head that I'm suing you for all the money you make?
Dad, I'm here. It's the Karen.
And he's harassing me.
Look, house is right there. Ding dong ditch. See if anybody comes outside. You just did it, boys. I'm so scared. They have a Ring doorbell. Hello.
Are you f***ing kidding me? I'm telling my husband to kill me.
Now, a lot of this stuff, like riding a dirt bike that's really loud or ding-dong dishing someone, is kind of normal teenager shit. It's not the most egregious thing in the world. Even being annoying in public at a store is kind of typical expected teenager behavior. But the unordinary thing about what Jack was doing is that he was not punished for it, and in fact, he was rewarded. He was making money. Normally, when you do something like this, you have parents to come in and stop you and make sure that you don't do it again. Jack's parents didn't stop him. And on top of that, he got directly rewarded for what he was doing because he filmed it all and posted it online with ads. His delinquent behavior that to any other parent would probably get him punished instead directly benefited him. And as a result, he was conditioned from a very young age to be annoying as to everyone around him and to get more and more dangerous and outrageous with the videos he was doing.
Let's go.
Jack just got a concussion.
He was making so much money, in fact, and getting so many views that at 15 years old, he managed to meet Logan Paul, where he told Logan that he had purchased various investment properties.
What'd you say just now?
I bought a house.
How is that possible? You're 12.
It's my money, but like under my dad's name.
Listen, did you just say you're laundering money for your father?
So he was making a bunch of money, but regardless of that, I think it's clear that the way he was making it probably wasn't worth it. Like, there are ways you can make this much money without being a complete menace to society. So his parents' solution to this, instead of like punishing Jack or getting some kind of family therapist to explain to him that what he was doing was wrong, or what my parents personally would have done, which would be send me to military school forever and never see my family or friends again until I became a normal person. Instead, his parents decided the best method of dealing with this would be to go on Dr. Phil to talk about it on national TV in front of millions of people.
A teenage social media star.
Accused of being disrespectful, rude, advocate for bad behavior.
Now, during this episode, Jack is still in high school, keep in mind, but regardless, Dr. Phil doesn't really hold back very much. He confronts him about his behavior, and we get kind of a deeper view, a deeper peer, a deeper analysis into the mind of a teenage clout goblin. And he openly says in this episode, hey, people may hate me for this, but I get to post it to YouTube, so I don't really care.
A lot of people call me rude rude and obnoxious.
He was citing. Leave my house now.
You're tired of that?
I'm tired of you. You're the one who started this whole thing, actually.
But I think the majority of people think it's funny and really entertaining.
At one point in particular, Jack had done this prank where he basically bought some non-alcoholic beer, the fake beer that alcoholic guys drink to feel like they're fitting in, and he was sipping on that drink in public and acting drunk. He was like stumbling around, he was slurring his words, he was trying to make it seem like he was as intoxicated as possible. And he did all this in an effort to try to get the police's attention to prank them. They obviously saw what he was doing. They saw that he had a beer and they thought it was real, and Jack said it was real directly, so they told him, hey, you're a kid, stop drinking beer. They didn't really even want to arrest him, they just told him to throw it out and go about his day, but he just decided to make the situation worse for himself and antagonize and pester them and try to get some kind of reaction.
I'm f***ed up.
I see that.
Trying to guzz?
Is it good?
Maybe you shouldn't be drinking beer.
You're 17, you're not supposed to have that.
He keeps pressing them and acting drunk and trying to convince them that he is drinking as a child, and they obviously are like, hey, that's illegal, you can't do that, so they decide to put him in cuffs.
I just beer, man. Officer, you can't push me like that. It's 0% alcohol. Hey, yo, chill. Yo, what the f***?
It's not funny anymore, right?
At which point, he starts playing the victim and trying to explain to them, oh, it's just fake beer, guys, it's just a prank. Normally, something like this would be a bit of a wake-up call for any kind of 15-year-old to, like, not do this kind of content anymore. I mean, getting arrested in high school for pretending to commit a crime is not a place you want to be, even if you did pretend to commit a crime. The problem being that Jack got 700,000 views on YouTube, so he just didn't care.
I did a video where I went walking around drinking fake beer, and I pranked the cops that I was drunk.
My stomach hurts. I'm gonna puke so bad.
Maybe you shouldn't be drinking beer.
The police handcuffed me, threw me in the back of a cop car, and detained me for over an hour. The police contacted my dad, and my dad tried to talk them out of it and explain that it was my job, and they kind of just eventually let me go.
Going on.
It's not funny anymore, right?
But looking back on it, it was extremely worth it because I got a great video and never went to jail.
Now, obviously, there are a lot of problems with this. I mean, you're basically wasting tax dollars or wasting police resources on committing a fake crime, so they have to spend time dealing with you when they could be dealing with anything else. I mean, these guys could be responding to some other serious crime. There could be, who knows, any kind of shooting a few miles away. There could be some other crime taking place a couple blocks over that they should be dealing with, but instead, they're having to deal with this child who is pretending to drink beer. But Jack doesn't care at all. He just brushes this off and is like, oh, well, you know, they weren't busy anyway. I mean, they're just cops, whatever.
You see any problem with that?
It's not a problem with that. I just thought it was a good opportunity for the prank because they weren't really doing anything. They were just in a circle talking.
That's 7 cops talking to you, and there may be somebody getting mugged or raped or something 10 blocks over, and they don't have police protection because you're scamming 7 cops over here, and so there's not police coverage somewhere else because they're jacking with...
Well, I mean, and they were just talking in a circle, like nothing was going on.
Yeah, well, you don't know that.
And during this episode, we also get to hear from the Doherty family, the Doherty lineage, where they kind of describe how they feel about Jack. And frankly, their reactions are hilarious, but probably not for the reasons that they think that they are.
If it's up to me, I would tell Jack to stop doing all these videos.
Last month, he bought 0% alcohol beer.
Woo! I'm hammered. Oh my, bro!
And he was acting drunk, so they put him in cuffs.
This is what got me arrested. Guys, are you ready?
Why would I be excited that you got arrested? Police eventually called me after they detained Jack. And I believe if they didn't call me, Jack would have gone to jail because of his attitude.
Jack needs to understand when he's turned 18, it's not going to be mommy or daddy help me. He's going to have to face consequences.
You realize, lady, hey, listen to me. You realize you are his mom. You literally can make him stop. He is your child. He is a minor. You basically own him, okay? Children are basically property of their parents. You can tell them to stop. You can take away his camera and take away his computer so he can't make YouTube videos anymore if you don't like what he's doing. It's hard for me to tell if the mom is like being intentionally disingenuous here or if she has some kind of cognitive dissonance about it where she's like, oh, well, my son is being so annoying, but at the same time, like he's making money, dude. Like I can't tell what her problem is, but I just have to question what is wrong with her if she feels like she can't stop him. He's like 5'3", okay? He's not going to be able to physically stop you from taking away his stuff. You can just take away his camera and he won't be able to make videos anymore. It's as simple as that. Like, ground him. He's a child in every sense of the word.
He knows I'm not proud what he's doing. We have a lot of fights about school. He promising he's going to do well, but it's not good. Yeah, I really beg him to finish the high school.
And the parents even acknowledge here, they're like, yeah, he's failing high school. His grades are really bad. You know, it's a pretty dire situation. And Jack seems to just not care because he wants to spend his time making YouTube videos instead, which is his true passion. But in this episode, we get to learn what the real priorities of his parents are. And those priorities really come down to one word, being money.
It's hard to punish Jack by taking away his phone or shutting off his computer, because that's how he makes his living.
I feel guilty when we turn his phone and computer off because I feel like I'm a bad mom.
Social media has really taken over his life.
Yeah, but you say, I can't take his phone or his cameras away because that's how he makes his money.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's working like a 30-year-old, and so, you know, I'm not going to
It's difficult to figure out a way to discipline him. It is.
They just saw dollar signs. He was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year when he was very young, which is like, you know, a little bit of credit to him because most kids don't figure out how to do that. The problem being that the way he's doing it is completely evil and retarded. But they saw that he was making money, and their wishes, if they ever did exist, for him to be a functional, normal, like, member of society just went down the drain. They didn't care about him terrorizing local businesses and making their family the most hated in the neighborhood in the entire area. They just wanted him to keep making money. That's all they cared about.
At the end of the day, you have to remember that this is what you two raised, and this is what you guys got.
And this clip in particular is so awesome because, like, Jack is kind of joking here, but he's also right. His parents did make him this way. They did let him become this total shithead, and they did nothing to stop him. They can pretend to care that he's becoming a menace to society and kind of feign outrage at the fact that he's making really bad content that is, like, bad for the world in general. But at the same time, they're also posing in his YouTube channels, pretending to be sad about what he's up to. Now, at the time, there was this narrative from Jack that he was using a lot as kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card. He was like, hey, you know, I may be annoying now, I may be a menace now, but, you know, I'm just a kid. As soon as I turn 18, I know there's going to be real consequences for these actions, so I'm going to have to stop because then I may be facing real jail time or something for, you know, drinking beer in public or stuff like that.
And you say you need to get out all of your obnoxious behavior before you turn 18 because then you become an adult.
Yeah, that's true.
And then your accountability gets to be a lot higher, right?
Yeah, that's the problem, yeah.
But at every step of the way, when he should be getting punished, instead of taking it on the chin and just accepting it, instead he thought, how can I turn this into content? Which is why when he got an in-school suspension, instead of, like, accepting that punishment, he decided to film himself in the bathroom and in the classroom in detention for his YouTube audience. It is fucking insane.
It's 7th period, it's currently 1:05, and yeah, I have 2 more periods after this of just sitting in the classroom doing nothing because it's so pointless and boring. Yeah, guys, drop a like, this is so boring. I can't take this anymore. If I get suspension from this video, I'm going to cry because in-school suspensions stink like they're the worst.
So it's probably not a surprise that when his parents refused to discipline him and the school was unable to get them to tard wrangle their idiot son, the school decided they were just done with him. And before he was even 18 years old, his shenanigans managed to get him expelled from high school permanently. But Jack wasn't even mad about this. He literally was not mad at all. I mean, he was a little mad because his parents apparently screamed at him and his mom was upset a little bit, but ultimately, he now had 0 real-life normal person responsibilities. He could just be a YouTuber like he had wanted to be since he was 12 years old. He got to be just like his idols, Jake and Logan Paul. So right after being expelled, he bought more rental properties and made content about it on YouTube. He got pulled over for driving a Tesla without a license, which is, once again, how did his parents let this happen? But the money was still rolling in because he posted this all to YouTube and made AdSense dollars off of it. And his dad didn't even care about the fact that he was dropping out because Jack bought him a $15,000 watch, so it didn't really matter to him. But at this point, after Jack gets expelled, his views also started to take kind of a dip. You know, for all of the faults of someone like Jake or Logan Paul, throughout all their controversies, they still had a fan base. They were still getting views. They had a real audience that watched them for their personalities. They didn't have to just exist based on sparking up a new controversy every few months for commentary channels to talk about and everybody on Twitter to rage about. They actually had an audience that did watch them, even in the downtime when that stuff wasn't going on. Jack did not have that at all. By 18 years old, he was already a soulless, personalityless, just void of clout. Someone who could only get views off of clickbait and being a pain in the ass to members of the public who didn't want to deal with him ever again. So his views started dipping from 500,000 or 600,000 on average to like 200,000 or maybe even, you know, barely cracking 100,000. He needed some way to make more cash. He needed some way to sustain his expensive lifestyle and continue buying more properties and make his money because YouTube AdSense just wasn't covering it. By 2023, Jack's views were still pretty low compared to where they were just a few years ago. Despite this, he was making a ton of money. He had managed to rent out a massive mansion in Miami where he was paying $30,000 a month in rent. Like, absurd amounts of money are just leaving his bank account. He had a real estate portfolio of 21 rental units that were taking in a bunch of cash for him from the tenants that were paying him rent. He owned multiple watches worth tens of thousands of dollars. He's got multiple supercars, and he claimed to be making upwards of $500,000 regularly per month.
If you don't mind me asking, like, in a month, how much money could you make? You don't have to go into depth.
All right, Logan Paul. No, I'm kidding. Take a
guess and I'll say higher or lower.
Wow, you've been PR trained, you've been media trained.
750,000.
Good guess, honestly. But yeah, low key around that. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less.
Meanwhile, he also had another passion, which was IRL streaming. IRL streaming kind of blew up in 2016 and 17 because of Ice Poseidon, but around 2022 to 2023, it saw a huge resurgence with people like John Zerka streaming their crazy lives, basically. And Jack saw this and saw it as a good opportunity. I mean, it makes sense in terms of business, which Jack, seems to think he's very good at. Instead of making actual YouTube videos that you have to plan out and then edit into a nice little piece of content that you post, Jack started streaming on Kick, and there he could collect donations while he was live, and then he could clip the best moments into content for his YouTube channel. Now, these best moments are pretty questionable, as it was mostly just him being really annoying again.
We got out of there, mofos, let's go!
Watch your language, there's kids around here.
I didn't say any curse words. What'd I say?
Just watch your language.
What'd I say?
You got a stupid shirt on over there.
Yeah. Your kids can't read, though.
What are you talking about?
Your kids can't read, can they?
I'm sure your kids watch.
Get away from me.
You started talking to me, buddy.
Get away from me.
You get away from me. Watch your kids. Go walk away.
Get something to say, you motherfucker.
McKinley, back up.
What the fuck's your problem?
His entire bit for a while is that he would go somewhere in public, he would go out of his way to annoy someone or piss them off, and they would get mad at him, and he would then hide behind his giant black security guard who would intimidate whoever he just pissed off. This happened so many times, and his security guard would even fight people a few times that just didn't need to be fought, like they didn't even touch him, and he would just go out of his way to mess with them.
What? Little bro, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, little bro? Yeah.
And ultimately, this got so bad that it all came to a head with one particular incident on the beach, where somebody pissed off Jack and the security guard because they were just like calling him annoying, which is true. And the security guard then proceeded to Superman punch this guy in the head completely unprovoked. Now, getting punched by a 6'7" giant person for doing absolutely nothing is obviously not anybody's idea of a fun Friday night. That's not a position you want to be in. You can actually see that he got punched pretty damn hard based on the injuries that he sustained. And this would end up catching Jack a serious lawsuit. The victim's lawyer would write, "This was a disgusting, unprovoked assault on a young man by a professional boxer at the direction of his social media influencer employer. Chase was minding his own business, enjoying a fun Halloween party with friends when he was brutally attacked by a man several times larger than him. This sort of behavior by Jack Doherty and his cronies needs to end. Chase suffered serious injuries that could derail his life and career." Now, Jack tried to get out of this lawsuit in a very creative way. He said, "I actually don't have to pay for this, despite the fact my security guard punched the guy in the head and I was like kind of okay with it, and there's been like 10 other incidents where this kind of thing almost happened." He said, "I'm not responsible for this." No. You see, instead, the insurance company State Farm should have to pay for it because Jack paid them for renter's insurance.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I don't know how they thought that would work. Maybe it was just a Hail Mary to try and get out of paying for this, but, to no one's surprise, it didn't really work. And State Farm basically came back at him and said, "No, actually, it's not our fault that your giant, low IQ bodyguard decked some guy. It's not our fault at all." TMZ actually finishes this article in a really funny way by saying, "As it turns out, State Farm is not always there." So by this point, a lot of these moments had gone viral, and Jack was widely hated across YouTube by pretty much everyone. His videos didn't get a lot of views, so they're not making a lot of money. If you go to his comment sections, he just gave up on trying to turn them off when he gets hate, because every single comment is a hate comment, so he just gave up on trying to hide whenever people hated him. Meanwhile, when he was on Kick, his streams were supposedly getting an average of 10,000 live viewers. I don't really believe that number, because if he was getting that many, I think you would hear about him from like his actual fans a lot more. For streaming, 10,000 live viewers is an insane number. That puts you in like the top % of streamers, and he didn't really seem to be that popular outside of these crazy moments that will get clipped and posted on Twitter and Instagram and every other platform. And Kick also notoriously has a big botting problem where somehow everybody on the site is getting like 70,000 to 100,000 live viewers when their chat is not really moving that fast, and like when they go in public, they're not really being recognized. You got to understand, if you're getting 70,000 live viewers, that is like an insane amount of people watching you live, right? That is like Kai Cenat levels. If you go in public anywhere and you're getting 70,000 live viewers, every person in every room is going to know who you are. And that did not happen with Jack. Most people didn't know who he was when he went in public. So I wouldn't really be surprised if 10,000 is not the real number and it's like 2,000 or 3,000, maybe at the max. And the point behind me going on this kind of diatribe is just to point out that between YouTube and Kick, these income sources don't really add up to $700,000 or $800,000 a month. It just doesn't add up to that. So it kind of begs the question, how is this guy actually making his money? Well, as a lot of people have talked about, what Jack did was actually a kind of smart, kind of genius, and like a Machiavellian, slimeball, evil guy kind of way. He took advice from Andrew Tate.
Have you ever dated an OnlyFans chick that's given you 100% of the money?
All the time.
No way.
I'm describing to you right now. All the chicks give me all the money.
In recent years, Jack took up a new career opportunity of being an OnlyFans manager. He basically helps these girls run their accounts. He tells them what kind of content they should post. He makes sure they're posting consistently. And as a result, he gets a cut of whatever money they make from the simps that are paying for their paywalled nudes. All of the stuff we've seen from him on YouTube in the past few years are essentially A, him killing time, or B, him trying to promote whatever OnlyFans girl is in the content so he can make money off of them. By growing his brand and his name and having these girls around him, he can funnel people who are basically addicts and want to, you know, subscribe to this kind of stuff to go and check out his OnlyFans girls pages, and then he collects his percentage. One of these schemes he devised in particular to get the most attention possible was seen on YouTube Shorts, and he got a few shorts that got a lot of views.
Wilson versus Spalding. Which ball will explode first?
This content is absolute cancer. I do not know who is watching it. Maybe it's children watching it. I really don't know. But naturally, because it's cancer, it managed to get 100 million views on YouTube. I don't know what I'm doing. And if you check the description of this short, you instantly see him promoting this girl's OnlyFans. If you check another short, it's the exact same thing. In this next one, he's with his mom, and they also promote this girl's OnlyFans.
My mom hates my new girlfriend, so today I'm gonna try everything in my power to change her mind. First, I had my girlfriend McKinley go tan next to my mom to see if she could talk to her.
Oh, whoa, excuse me. Put some clothes on, please.
Now, this girl in particular in this video, the girl that's not his mom, she doesn't have an OnlyFans as far as I know. But I think if Jack thought it would make him money and his mom thought that it would, then I think they would probably do that like tomorrow, yesterday. I think he would totally put his mom on OnlyFans if he could. But this girl, his girlfriend, is named McKinley Richardson. She has 7 million subscribers of her own on YouTube, mostly subs she got from being in Jack's content. And her channel is also pretty dead. She's got 7 million subscribers, but she averages like 100K views on her actual videos. The only videos that actually get attention are the shorts.
Today, when I was walking in Miami Beach, I noticed a weirdo looking at my app. I'm gonna go home and kill myself.
Obviously, it's not really advisable to imagine what kind of relationship they have, considering, you know, that Jack is like managing her OnlyFans and managing all these other girls' OnlyFans and looking at their content every day. I would imagine they might have kind of an Adam 22 situation going on, but I don't really know. One really funny moment during the IRL streams is at one point, FouseyTube, the GOAT of YouTube, came over to the house. The I felt gay guy.
I felt worthless. I felt ugly. I felt gay. I felt that like that.
He found out that Jack was doing OnlyFans and that his girl did OnlyFans, and he just basically roasted him and called him a degenerate freak for letting his girlfriend do this.
Are you gonna tell your wife she's gonna sell her pussy? She doesn't sell her pussy. What does she sell? Toe pictures? Thong pictures? Oh, you think that makes it better? No. You think that she's hiding her tit like this, bending over, and a guy's jacking? Dog, porn ruins men. Ruins men. I'm a sex addict, I know.
Shout out to Fousey, by the way, for being the god of content. I'll probably do a video about him at some point soon because he is just the most entertaining person to ever exist. But as is the case with a lot of OnlyFans and sex work related people and managers, we would eventually see some serious allegations be made about Jack and his business practices. Now, I do want to preface here that these are allegations. They have been made by a few people, but regardless of that, we don't have direct proof of Jack doing anything illegal. So please just take all of this with a big, dry, hard, giant rock of salt, okay? We don't know how true any of this is. Now, these allegations initially came out with a girl named Natalie Reynolds. She herself is a pretty controversial person. She's a kick streamer, so you can imagine the kind of stuff she's getting up to over on that site. She's best known for a few really hated moments. My particular favorite one is when she rented a big white van, wrote free candy on it, and did a prank where she asked real-life children with their parents shopping at Walmart if they wanted free candy, and it went about as well as you would expect it to go. People were like, "What's wrong with you?
Do you want some free candy?"
Oh guys, look at the prank, epic prank, I pretended to be a pedophile. At the beginning of 2024, Natalie decided to accuse Jack publicly of grooming. She essentially claimed that Jack would meet these 17-year-old girls, he would become friends with them, he would kind of talk to them in some kind of sense, and he would then try to convince them to do OnlyFans as soon as they turned 18. She reiterated this same claim again in another tweet regarding this particular girl who had just turned 18 and was like, "I'm 18, go sub to my OnlyFans." But at the time all this went down, Natalie didn't post any direct proof. And make no mistake, this kind of allegation is somewhat believable on the surface, given that Jack himself is pretty young, and he's also got a really warped, retarded mind, so maybe he could justify this kind of behavior. Unfortunately, because Natalie is not very smart, she didn't provide any proof at all, so, you know, she really helped out those victims if they do exist. She would also claim that Jack was scamming these girls with predatory business contracts. She called this girl that he's gifting a Rolex his OnlyFans demon. True. Basically, she's claiming here that this Rolex that he bought this demon is with money that he got in the first place from making money off of her OnlyFans through this supposedly predatory business contract. Now, it is probably true that he bought them Rolexes with the money he made from them, but at the end of the day, this is not really a scam, assuming that the girls knew the contract they were getting into when they were above age. And Natalie didn't have these contracts. She didn't post any real proof of it. She just kind of shit-talked Jack and made a bunch of claims without any proof. So once again, if there are real victims here, we wouldn't even know. Like, we would never even know, not from Natalie, certainly. And she's ultimately harming people's chances of coming forward in the future if something like that is happening, because she just made this claim seemingly out of spite. I do like, though, that in this little shot here, you can see Jack's dad in the back just being like, "I'm so proud of my boy. That's my boy. That's my Jack. He did such a good job. I'm so proud of my boy. Oh my God. That's my son. That's my son. My beautiful, rich, talented YouTuber son." Basically, it seemed like Natalie was making these allegations less out of the intention to help any kind of victim and more because she just didn't like Jack. Jack had personally beefed with her and spited her, so she was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna shit talk you." But the focus was really taken away from the victims, which I think is not a good thing to do if you're gonna make some kind of allegation, at least if you're gonna do it for the right reasons, which I don't think that Natalie was doing that here. And Natalie herself is a very kind of questionable person, as I said before. At one point, she did this really crazy stream where she encouraged this random woman to jump in a lake. The woman said that she couldn't swim, and then Natalie was just like, "All right, bye," and just left her to drown.
You should just jump in right now.
I'm gonna jump in with my shoes on.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Ready? Oh,
Okay.
you said you wanted to swim.
You told me to jump in.
I didn't tell you to jump in.
I can't swim. I can only float.
Oh, she might literally die.
Dude, she's drowning in the lake.
So she is a very, very questionable person herself. Pretty much everyone involved here, actually, with Jack Doherty in any way. Anyone who's been close with him at any point and tries to expose him. Frankly, I'm going to give them kind of a side eye, kind of a, "What's going on there, buddy? What's wrong with you?" Because if you're close to Jack Doherty in any way at any point in time, you probably are a weird person yourself. It really makes me question, like, you're exposing him now, but how did you get along with this little psychopath in the first place? But Natalie is not the only person to make allegations against Jack. He would also be called out by another streamer named Norway. Not the country, not the place. The entire country of Norway didn't call out Jack Doherty, as believable as that would be if he went there for one day, because they would probably throw him in some kind of detainment center, hopefully. But no, it was a guy called Norway. And Norway claimed that Jack had housed a 16 or 17-year-old girl, in his words, at the OnlyFans penthouse he's running in Miami.
Jack said she was actually 17, but don't tell anybody. Jack, I'm gonna tell people she was 17, Jack. Sophie girl. Oh, not Sophie, Sophia. Sophia's little sister was 17. That was at the house. And then you said they're never coming back to the house. 4 days later, Jack, Ace invited the 17-year-old and her friends over to the house. And I also have messages of Sophie messaging me, "Daddy, please forgive me," or "Daddy, please come over," or something. The girls were begging me to come over to the other house while I'm in the guest house next door. But I didn't want to come over because you're a 17-year-old. And Jack, I messaged you, I told you to kick them out, and then you didn't do shit about it because you're in Dubai. But yeah, Ace was chilling with 17-year-olds in your house without the NDA. That's crazy. They didn't even sign the NDA, they just pulled up. That's why you got scared when I called the cops on the girls when they were drink driving, because you were 17.
So there's a lot of claims floating out there around Jack, about Jack, a lot of claims being made of his salacious, sneaky, sussy, baka behavior. But it's really unclear how real any of it is in terms of proven allegations of him getting underage girls drunk so they signed some kind of contract or agreement to do OnlyFans in the future. If he did do that, then there's eventually going to be some kind of legal consequences for him, which I would love to see, obviously, but there's no proof that he actually did that. So it's just kind of, it's up in the air, you know? And now we get to bring it back around a little bit to his parents, because throughout all of this behavior, all these allegations, all of the internet hate, Jack's parents are still around, and they're not there to punish him or be like, "I don't like what you're doing." They just go on his streams and pretend like they disapprove of his lifestyle, and then he gives them like a wash, and they're like, "Ah, you're not so bad, kid."
You want me to take you for a little ride in the Can-Am?
No, absolutely not.
Why are your mom so scared?
Because you like to scare the crap out of us.
Yeah, I do. That's right.
I know.
But make no mistake, they are still present every single step of the way and see what he's doing, and they don't care because he's making money. And I think the thing I really want to hammer in here is that his existence is largely their fault. If when Jack was 14 years old and he was terrorizing people at Walmart, he was harassing this random Karen in the neighborhood, if he had been seriously punished for those actions, if he had just had his internet access taken away, frankly, there could have been some chance to save this dude from himself, from becoming a complete menace to society. Instead, what they did is they allowed him unrestricted internet access, they let him have access to whatever business opportunity he wanted, and they let him be rewarded actively for all of his bad behavior. And that's how he turned into who he is today, a complete scumbag. Someone who exists seemingly solely for the misery of others and funnels simps to OnlyFans accounts to squeeze money out of them. And as much as someone like I will criticize him, as much as like maybe Kick will ban him or something like that, it doesn't really matter. The money just keeps rolling in, and to him, his mom, and his dad, that's really all that matters.
Well, at the end of the day, you have to remember that this is what you two raised, and this is what you guys got.